It's the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Welcome to another production here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network and the Mike Prince Show, along with The Zone. It is our mission to try to bring you some news you could use. Today is no exception to that rule. Follow me on X at the Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel with the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Please feel free to visit our website for our 24-hour stream at obnradio.com. With all that being established, let us try to weed our way through all that we've experienced just on this past week alone. We know that the Fred McNair debacle has really become a public relations nightmare for Texas Southern University. And it's unfortunate because it is a power struggle that we're now facing with, a battle of egos, if you're asking me, on why we have what we have. But the bottom line is you're on the danger of being without anything or anyone that would be reputable and worthy of leading the Texas Southern football program to the next destiny. Because regardless of what happens with the Fred McNair situation, people are watching and they are looking and saying, do I want to be a part of that? Why would I want to be a part of that? And what would be the benefit of being a part of that? Meanwhile, on the flip side with Fred McNair, you have to wonder if he's asking himself, is it even worth continuing to go through this? Why am I dealing with this? And would it be best for him to pick up as an assistant somewhere until he can re-land and get back on his feet? But then there is another potential opening that could somewhat remedy the current situation. What am I speaking of? Right now, out of Tallahassee, Willie Simmons, FAMU Rattlers head football coach, is being highly mentioned, recommended, and whispered about potentially becoming the running backs coach for the Duke Blue Devils football program. Now, on the surface, you're going like, well, why would Simmons even look at that? That would be a step down. Only in theory, and for those who don't understand the dynamics of the football coaching cycle. When you look at the big picture, Willie Simmons has achieved everything that he could achieve on the FCS/HBCU circuit. He came in as a head football coach, broke out, of course, at Prairie View, had good run at Prairie View. He then transitions over to FAMU. He has a great run with FAMU as a MEAC participant. He has a great run with FAMU as a Southwestern Athletic Conference participant. He has won Coach of the Year. He has won the Southwestern Athletic Conference Championship. He has won the HBCU Celebration Bowl Championship. And you can only get so much money out of the HBCU programs at this particular level. Yes, you can go back and FAMU can pony up and give you a little bit of an increase, but when the dust has settled, they can only go so far. If you transition and look over at the Duke opportunity, yes, he could and should be an offensive coordinator. Yes, he could and should be a quarterback's coach. But you got to crawl before you walk. And if he can accept a position paying $500,000 to coach running backs, and in comparison with the $300,000+ that he's getting now, carrying the whole load with the side orders and pieces that come with that load, it's almost a no-brainer. You mean to tell me that I can get $200,000 increase, coach 10 to 12 players a year, have less stress in my life, and the opportunity to advance up to that quarterbacking coaching position, that offensive coordinator's coach's position, or the head coaching opportunity that would one day present itself. And do know and understand, this is not necessarily a knock on the HBCU circuit. It's just a reality that one must face, which what I've been trying to speak for these last however many years, that you cannot operate in the world in that you don't have the finances to keep up. So you have to set your boundaries and limitations to what you have accessible to you. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You just simply know who you are, stay within your lane, and work with what you have. If you go back and look over the entire layout of Coach Willie Simmons' coaching career, he has taken advantage of the opportunity of coming to the HBCU circuit. He has got repositioned. He has built credibility with his name, his coaching style, and his brand, if you would. But let's look at it in the big picture and the realistic form in which it actually is. Coach Simmons has always been one who has been open about the opportunity of coaching on that FBS level. Coaching not necessarily on the Group 5 level, but the FBS level. Now, if you can get to that FBS level and what we used to know as the Power 5, now Power 4, probably soon to be Power 2, but if you can get in that realm and have a way to work, he has enough talent, he has enough knowledge, he has enough charm, he has enough capability to, once he gets back into that FBS status, he can work his way to his desired position, his desired goal. And you can't knock an individual for taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented to him. That's not saying that I would want to see him leave the HBCU circuit. Quite fond of the young brother, a very exceptional brother, as I mentioned, highly intelligent, great conversationalist, but the realistic point of view for this particular dialogue is that at least I have always known and understood, but this was a matter of embracing the river while you can, because when the opportunity presents itself, some sooner rather than later, he will take that plunge into FBS. And if you're FAMU, you have to come to that realization and know and understand that maybe we've come to the end of the road, that we have to say thank you so much for everything that you've given us, brother. Good luck on your journey. We'll never forget you. He has brought FAMU back to prominence. He has put them at the apex of the food chain when it comes to the FCS HBCU circuit. What else can you ask for? If he continues to stay, he could do one or two things. He can grow stale, or he can actually damage his hot brand right now. And we know it's about striking while the iron is hot. As I'll mention again, I would hate to see him leave our circuit. He is an absolute gem, but I do understand if he decides to do so. Meanwhile, if that was to take place, what about Fred McNair landing at FAMU, especially with what he's been dealing with the debacle that has developed at Texas Southern University? And you know what's sad about all of this? It really should have never gotten to this point. We have chronicled, on how all of this got in motion, as we referred last week on some episodes. December 11th, there was an agreement. Some powers that be checked off boxes and said, okay, this is what we got going on. As a result, everything seems to be okay. You then make your presentation to the Texas Southern University Board. They are somewhat in agreement and disagreement, which begins of the internal tug of war. And I'm still scratching my head. As long as I've been involved with local politics and serving, I've never seen nor witnessed in person how you need a majority of the board, well, not a majority, a unanimous board to approve whatever the leader, whether it was a superintendent, an athletic director, president, or whatnot, when they decide, they go through all of the preliminaries of the person they think that would take the position open to the next desired level. They dot the I's, cross the T's, present it to the board. The board, if they have any questions, they go through that, going back and forth of getting clarity. And then ultimately, you go ahead and pass it on through. And even if you didn't agree or like the necessary candidate, then if the majority rule, you have what you have, and then the new era begins, and you just be taking notes that if this does not work out the way you thought it should have worked out, even if you were the minority, you just use that as your arguing points at the time of renegotiation of A, the one who recommended, and then B, the individual who was a recipient of that recommendation. However, that's not what we're facing with, at least on the surface, at Texas Southern University. It is obvious that egos are in the way. It is obvious that people are dipping in areas that they should not be dipping in, and as a result, the entire brand of the university, in this case Texas Southern University, is taking a black eye. It is not good. And if the truth be told, it's not even good for the HBCU brand, because now it is going to have others questioning and even doubting the legitimacy of who and what we do and how we do things. And you're talking about creating that culture. This is what damaged culture. This is what damaged brands. This is what damaged and have people not take you serious when you come to the table and want to negotiate, whether it's a TV deal, whether it's an apparel deal, whatever it is when it comes to business-wise. They say you don't even have your own house in order, so how can you dare try to stiffen up or negotiate with me? And unfortunately, this trickled down to student athletes who once upon a time may have had a real strong interest in being a part of your program, but they're looking at how things are being handled right now, and it will cause them to go further down the road. And I know I can't speak for Fred McNair. He's an individual just as I am, but I would really, even if it was a prideful thing, after all this stuff is settled, I'd be like, you know what, man, don't even worry about it. I'll just go on down the road and chill and do whatever I can. But you best believe I will get in contact with my attorney and let my attorney speak on behalf of myself for the rest of this time that you and I will have whatever type of relationship there is. Because how could you even accept this with everything that you've had to go through right now, with the immense pressure and stress that you would be walking in on day one? Now, once again, this has nothing to do with the athletic director, Kevin Granger, because Kevin Granger is the one who presented him. Kevin Granger is the one who checked off and said, hey, this is our guy. Here we go, board. Let's get this process going on. But the board, and I can't re-emphasize enough, has literally stepped beyond their boundaries. They have stepped beyond their point of existence. They are supposed to be a support mechanism, a mechanism of setting target goals, and you assist as much as you can for the entirety of the institution's success. That's what the board's positioning is. When the board starts wanting to get involved with the hiring and firing of coaches. Okay, was the board this intense whenever any other coaching positions come up? What about the bowling coach? What about the golfing coach? What about a softball coach, a volleyball coach, a track and field coach? What about a baseball coach? But you want to get involved and want to stick your head up when it comes to a football coaching decision or even a basketball coaching decision. Don't get beside yourself. Understand, yes, you have a very vital and critical role, but understand what your role is. Let the experts who are equipped to handle these type of decision makers, let them handle it. And if it doesn't work out, you deal with them accordingly. But that's what we have. Look, I got to get off of this. This is coming toward a new year. I got to take a break. And when we come back, we'll break down some basketball going on throughout the Southwestern Athletic Conference as we come toward the end of 2023. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Please hold it where you got it, and we'll be right back.
Be sure to join us Saturday mornings on the Open Mic Broadcast Network for The Zone. Each week we produce a fresh take on the world that was throughout the Southwestern Athletic Conference. That is Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Broadcast Network, The Zone. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. We're somewhat doing our last 2023 episode for the network as we get ready for 2024. But you know, we are in the midst of basketball season. I do want to remind you guys that you can follow me on X at the Mike Prince Show. Go ahead and click on that follow deal, and we greatly appreciate that. You can even subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Hit the bell notification. That way, every time something fresh drops off, you'll be one of the first ones to know what's going on. We got some great plans in store for 2024, so stay tuned and watch us grow even further and wider in this digital atmosphere. Now, basketball season will be coming up for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. The women will be hosting the Wiley Wildcats today. I believe that tip-off is at 3 p.m. Central Time. For the men, they'll go up the road to College Station to take on Texas A&M. That tip-off will start at 6 p.m. Central Time. Both of them will get into action as we get closer to the start of our 24 basketball campaign. In the basketball circuit on Friday night, Bethune-Cookman fell short, 98-64 to South Florida. Alabama State lost to South Florida, 73-70. Jackson State fell short to Northwestern, 74-63. In women's basketball, Mississippi Valley lost to Mississippi State, 99-35. FAMU lost to North Florida by the score of 76-71. And on Thursday, Alcorn lost to DePaul, 77-39. Right now, at a glance, as we look at the top two seeds, I guess the top seeds from men and the women's division of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, you're going to have to tip your caps to the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. On the women's side, they are 8-4, and on the men's side, they stand at top at 5-7 as we get ready for the start of SWAC basketball play beginning January the 6th. I'm going to take another final break for this week's episode of The Zone. We'll come back and give some closing thoughts and some projections for the year of 2024.
Join us daily for Southwestern Athletic Conference and Prairie View A&M University Panthers coverage. on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. By far, we are the only network in the community that is providing this type of coverage each and every day for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Don't forget, you can join in on the website at obnradio.com. Click on the 24-hour stream, listen to content that way, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
And welcome back to our final segment of this weekend edition of The Zone. I am your host, the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. I just want to thank you guys for a fantastic 2023. We have been able to provide you every game during the football season right here on our network. We couldn't get it done without you guys' support, and we're looking on continued growth. We thank our team of broadcasters, our team of reporters, our team of contributors for all of our programming that we've been able to do throughout the course of the year. Above the Net with Coach Newman. She has provided some outstanding tips and insights on the world of volleyball, in particular that from the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And we thank Coach Tamika Newman so much. We can't forget Coach Heiss Northern, our football guru, providing all the breakdown, X's and O's, some of the most funny stories that you could ever imagine throughout his coaching tenure throughout the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and even doing some broadcasts with us on some of our game coverage. Thank you so much, Coach, for your contribution for the 23 campaign. We know we got to thank the guru himself, Coach Van Pettaway, always giving some insightful knowledge and golden nuggets and tips on not only basketball, but just athletics alone, in particular from the lens of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We couldn't get things done without you guys. All of our contributors, near and far, we're actually going to be expanding the opportunity for you to become part of the broadcast family, the network family, whether it's a correspondent from any of our sister schools that make up this lovely conference of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. It could be a correspondent, it can be a content contributor. All of those are on the table and open. We're actually going to be creating a special group where we can get these things directly accessible for us to get things out even more accurate and even more faster for the 2024 campaign. We want to thank our broadcast teams for doing what they've done throughout the course of the year. Andre Davis, Philip Prince, Greg Johnson, all of these young men have contributed in such a mighty way of getting things done. And I cannot forget the crew from the Yeah, I Said It episodes. Brother Ben, who's also AKA the number one PV fan, let him tell it. We got to thank Brother Jack. He is a solid contributor to help that Yeah, I Said It episode take off and do what it's done. And I just can't imagine what these guys got in store for 2024. So, man, put your seatbelts on and let's enjoy the ride. I want to thank you, the listeners, for everyone who has responded to a YouTube post, any of our other platforms that we post on, whether it's X, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, or whatever they call it, the Google Play, all of these different platforms that I can't even keep up with, but you guys have helped contribute and carry our message down the road just a little bit further. And I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would have never thought that the many years ago that we started releasing this stuff, that it would get to where it's gotten. We're doing it for fame, still don't do it for fame. We do it out of a love and what we believe is a necessity of being able to tell our story. While I'm thinking, I got to thank my correspondents and my sister group by way of Mississippi, the G Live crew, Brother Lee Hall, Brother Joshua Davis, all of these guys that just really help us keep this thing moving forward. And if I've forgotten and miscalled anyone, please charge it to my head, not to my heart. We love you guys, and we want to continue to move forward together. Let's make 24 even greater than what 23 was. We've had some great stories, some up and down stories, some stories that have yet to be completed, i.e. Texas Southern University. But you best believe that when it breaks, we'll break there with you. I am going to exit stage left for the final time in 2023. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, thanking you guys so much for joining in with us each and every day. Follow me on X. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network and visit that website, obnradio.com. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.